There's been a lot of focus on the inflation data and what influence that's had on the Reserve Bank Monetary Board in their decision making today. Can you take us through what they've been looking at in terms of the monthly data and what they've been concerned about for the second half of this year?
Good afternoon to you, Melissa. Look, I think that the confusion is around the importance that the Reserve Bank puts on the monthly, what's called CPI indicator. And I think that the key message here is that basically the detail in the data is what the Reserve Bank is looking at. So if you have the monthly data going all over the place and bouncing up and down, then it takes credibility away from the data. So that's what the Reserve Bank has been worried about. In the last data set we got, we saw that core CPI was very, very close to the Reserve Bank's bang on the target band of 2.5%, or I should say bang on the inflation data point of 2.5%, which is right in the middle of the target band between 2 and 3%. It's exactly where the Reserve Bank wants it. Not quite there yet, but pretty close to it. But the headline figure showed 3%, which is not where the Reserve Bank would like it to be. I know if people watching now think, well, 3%, it's not very far from 2.5%, David. But the reality is that we want inflation to be coming down persistently. So when it goes up in the wrong direction, it starts to worry the Reserve Bank. And of course, the rebates, electricity rebates, federal and state coming off is contributing to that result. But the Reserve Bank Governor today was at pains to say that it doesn't just ignore that monthly CPI indicator. It does look at the detail, and as far as that last CPI number we got, that monthly CPI, the Reserve Bank was pleased to see core inflation, as I say, at 2.6%, right next to that bullseye of 2.5%, but a little bit uncomfortable with some of the elements of the data, i.e. services inflation. And Mel, that's what we've been talking about now for a couple of years, which is rents, the cost of building a new home, out-of-pocket healthcare costs, insurance premiums, things like that. The core of this, excuse the pun, but the core of this issue with regard to interest rates is prices in those areas of the economy that just don't seem to want to budge at the moment.
We saw in the statement the Reserve Bank's Monetary Board put out that they were noting the uncertainty in the global economy and that remains elevated. But we heard from Michelle Bullock in that presser there that she's saying nonetheless it's a pretty positive picture for the economy. So do we take from that the Monetary Policy Board is just very much on the conservative side in wanting to wait and see how things unfold?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because if you look at the data at the moment, it warrants rates on hold just from a data perspective. The unemployment rate is roughly where the Reserve Bank would like it to see. Inflation is roughly where the Reserve Bank would like it to see. And productivity is too low, meaning that when there's a lift in wages, per unit labour costs go up, and employers can push that onto customers in terms of higher prices. The employee costs too much, they put that onto the customer. So that's why there's perhaps a little bit of hesitation around lowering interest rates at the moment. But to your point about the global picture, yes, that has eased, and the Reserve Bank has made it clear that Trump's so-called reciprocal tariffs have eased off a little bit. Geopolitics seems to be easing. But here's the thing, and when I talk to stockbrokers and analysts regularly, they always bring this up, which is the black swan event, which is we don't know if we're going to wake up one morning and we'll have, Wall Street down 5 or 6%. There is talk of an AI bubble on Wall Street because so much good news has been priced into the market without actual factual evidence of it. And indeed, Australia's superannuation sector is exposed to that. So in the statement accompanying the decision today, the Reserve Bank did say, look, we're still going to keep an eye out on what's happening overseas. For the moment, it's okay. There were storm clouds gathering. Those storm clouds have come off a little bit, but we're not relaxed about it at this point, and that there could be some sort of exogenous big economic event that occurs overseas that does filter through to Australia. And if that was significantly negative and pushed unemployment up, yes, that would warrant significant interest rate cuts by the Reserve Bank.
OK, so we've got the Reserve Bank that is pretty happy with roughly where inflation sits and where employment sits, which are its main mandate. We've got at a political level, a federal government that would like to see rates come down a little bit more to help with cost of living pressure, knowing that that's its remit. What's the market anticipating? What is the expectation of the market for when a next rate cut might come?
Oh, Mel, I'd love to give you a clean answer for this, but it's not possible. It's as clear as mud. Well, this is the thing. I mean, I'm sitting at my desk daily as a business correspondent with the ABC, and I see a note coming through from a bank or an analyst or an independent stockbroker, whatever it might be, and they change their calls every month, and they change a call depending on what the monthly CPI data says and what the unemployment rate says. 1 minute, a certain independent economist will say that rates are definitely not going to come down at all. And then the September quarter inflation figure will come out. And let's just say, for hypothetical sake, that it's 2.4%. Every economist and attached to a bank and independent economist will come out the following day or that afternoon saying there is absolutely going to be a rate cut on Melbourne Cup Day. So it is very difficult to determine. I suspect that economists and analysts are in the exact same position as Reserve Bank Governor Michelle Bullock in that they just don't know. They can draw on past data with regard to unemployment and inflation. You have to remember the inflation data that's coming through at the end of October will be based on the 3 months to September, which is ancient history at that point. So it's difficult. I think that if you want to come up with a sort of consensus, the next interest rate cut may not come until early next year.